calling you, and Skype decided that means I want to delete everything I done before that. Okay.
Karen, can you repeat your question? We did not hear it.
Yeah, I was making a question, and now I've kind of lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Okay, well, perhaps I can ask a question. I mean, one useful form of artificial stupidity, presumably, is an AI that is not capable of manipulating or deceiving human beings, because I wonder what sort of limitations it would need. Like, it might not have a good theory of mind of human beings, or it just might not understand humor and irony and sarcasm, or just not understand the concept of actually deceiving. Is that a coherent idea? Is it possible to imagine limiting that dimension of an AI, making it very autistic, essentially, very intelligent, but
so there is a good movie called The Invention of Lying. I don't know if you saw it, where they start with no one knows how to lie, and then one clever guy discovers that it's possible. So I think that kind of relates to your idea. I don't know how implementable it would be, but as a concept it could be interesting. Of course, for customer satisfaction reasons, you want your artificial assistant to lie to you. Do I look fat in this? No, you look great.
I suppose if you were super intelligent, you'd find a way to get out of that situation without lying.
Solve obesity.
Sorry?
Cure obesity epidemic. That delicious food with 0 calories.
I was always intrigued by the fact that the Turing test itself has the necessity for lying built in, because if the AI on the other side of the screen, or teleprinter, as he thought of it, is going to convince you that it's going to be indistinguishable from a human being, then it's got to be able to lie if you ask it things like, when did it last have a haircut, or does it paint its nails, or something like that.
I wonder if a new California law now makes it illegal to administer Turing tests, as they would have to self-disclose as robots.
Well, the problem with that is that there's no law saying if you're not a robot, you have to say you're not a robot. And I know humans well enough to be pretty sure that some people would say, yeah, I'm totally a robot, when they weren't, just for lulz.
Especially in California, yeah.
One of the classical thoughts that a lot of AI safety work has been done on are on things like Newcomb's problem, where we would in generally prefer that the AGI 1 boxes, but a lot of human 2 boxes. This is of course a controversial subject, depending on whether you prefer to 1 box or 2 box on Newcomb. What are your thoughts on this?
I haven't put any effort into it. I'm very interested in causal decisions and things of that nature, but I haven't done anything to make a meaningful statement. Maybe get back to me in a year or so. I'm planning things.
Maybe to make that question a bit broader, it seems, in my intuition, that the reason why we want AGI is because it can do things that we cannot do. It can be more unbiased and more rational than we can. And if that's the economic incentive, then obviously making it artificially stupid will defeat the point.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the catch-22, right? You want system maximally capable while keeping it at levels where you still retain control. That's what makes it so difficult. You can't have it both ways.
But if you consider, for example, military, then they often want that soldiers don't do too much of their own thinking, and they have instead quite good system of general rules, and people do useful work.
Useful work, yes, but they never invent anything. You don't see soldiers in the field coming up with cures for cancer. They're there to kill people, and that's not very complicated.
Of course.
One thought I have is that humans in general have really, really poor introspection. We can't really understand our own feelings. We often can't explain why we take the actions or thoughts that we have. And I'm thinking for an AI system, even a superintelligence, we might be able to obtain the same thing using homomorphic encryption, where we encrypt the, for instance, even just encrypting the source code of the AI, so it cannot self-modify in the way that humans can't self-modify.
It's possible for preventing modification and improvement, but in terms of understanding, I thought that was your main question. Why would it provide better self-understanding?
My question was that was a way we could make even a strong superintelligence artificially stupid if we encrypted source code, so it cannot improve itself in that way.
But it's already at super intelligent levels, right? So it just prevents it from going even more in that direction. But I think at certain point, whatever it's, 1,000 IQ points or 2,000 IQ points from our point of view looks the same. And probably from a safety point of view.
I agree.
But hopefully that might prevent that particular form of singularity of the intelligence explosion.
We talk about it in our AI boxing work, encrypting the code. Of course, that creates other issues, who controls the passwords, how they're stored, and again, usefulness of a system in that state. It's not obvious that that type of encryption can be actually made efficient enough for any meaningful computation. Right now, it's pretty slow from what I understand.
What are your plans for the next steps with this artificial stupidity project?
So I hope to get a very smart student somewhere to help me actually collect all this data and do a follow-up paper, ideally with a data set and maybe API for people to use. So if you know anyone or you are one of those brilliant minds, we're in need of you. And you get to claim you are a stupid expert publishing stupid papers. That's a huge benefit.
What do you intend to do with this data? How do you implement, where you implement it?
So probably first application would be for chatbots. It's quite trivial. I consult for a number of cryptocurrency startups in that space, trying to make intelligent assistants and perfectly record everything they do and engage in on blockchain. So it seems like that could be one potential application to make them more user-friendly, set certain limits on what they do.
Do you also have any plans about implementing the artificial stupid thought processes, so it's not only stupid on the surface, but also really stupid in its reasoning?
So I think that we model human neural networks with artificial ones based on the same architecture. We kind of indirectly capture that. There are experiments I write about in my paper on detecting qualia, which show that without encoding it directly, certain neural networks got the same experiences as people, so they perceive visual illusions. If you start disconnecting them, they have illusion of out-of-body experience. They have visions and dreams in the same way. So I suspect complex enough system inspired by human brain would just by default capture all the limitations.
And these systems with these limitations have still practical use also. So they are not constructed only in order to demonstrate illusions.
Some of them are, some of them are not. So there is good reason to think that it's just a side effect. And again, the adversarial inputs to artificial neural networks are just visual illusions for computers, right? When we look at random noise and we see a picture of a panda.
Okay, I think we are running out of time. So does anyone have any final comments or questions?
I guess a quick question I had about applying this to superintelligence, and the conversation about soldiers made me think about this, was, I don't know if you're familiar with Paul Christiano's idea about iterated distillation amplification. But to my understanding, the idea there is sort of you train the AI to like act as an assistant to a human, and you gradually like train the AI on the responses of a human assisted by a team of AIs. So maybe that sort of points towards a way that like artificial stupidity could work for, if not, superhuman, at least maybe near human level AIs, where they don't necessarily need to be so superhuman level in order to still contribute meaningfully and provide some value.
So I know about his idea. There seems to be a lot of difficulties actually implementing it in practice. You need a team of AIs collaborating, exchanging information, so already kind of being aligned in some meaningful way. Anytime there is a human in the loop, I'm highly skeptical about what can be done, again, because of deception possibilities, social engineering attacks, just in general. What is the time frame? If machine is learning, a billion operations a second, what is the human supposed to do? Put 10-minute delays after every decision? I'm not quite sure how workable it is in practice.
That makes sense. I think the idea is like eventually you have some simulation of a human instead of the actual physical human, but yeah, it's not obvious that.
Well, if you have a simulation of human, you just solved artificial stupidity in AGI. You got exactly where I'm going.
I suppose so.
So you are doing iterated artificial stupidity.
Yes, we're slowly getting dumber.
Okay, I would like to thank Roman Yampolsky for presenting his work, and I think it's been a great discussion. I've enjoyed it very much. And I guess the next session in the reading group will be next Tuesday, where we'll read the second half of Magnus Winding's article on that altruists should perhaps not prioritize AI. And I guess that's it.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
This is an awesome group. I really enjoyed it. I hope I'll get some free time to join you guys more regularly. This is great.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.
Take care.